Right then, another defeat for Manchester United. We lose 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. That's another loss for Manchester United in the Premier League. After the game last week where we beat Man City 2-1, we were hoping to build momentum in a game like this, but we got absolutely outplayed by Bournemouth. And no disrespect to them, they were a team in sixth, way better than we are, offered way more threat than we did. But where did we begin? United had chances in the game. Look at Bruno had a few, Garnacho had one. And yes, it was 3-0. And we've had a lot of 3-0s at Old Trafford this season. It's disappointing for Ruben Amorim. I don't think the players did enough today. I think we were a bit sloppy in possession. We didn't really create chances in the final third. And ultimately, it was a very weak performance by Manchester United. I think attacking-wise, we were absolutely shambolic. Højlund, Xerxes, Bruno, Garnacho, all these players were shocking. There was no attacking impetus. I think Amorim did get a few things wrong today. I think taking off Ugarte was a huge one. The goals sloppy against another set piece conceded by Manchester United. Xerxes for me should be doing way better on that cross. It's coming in. You've got to watch where the ball's going, and ultimately Xerxes doesn't do that. Whoever is Manchester United set piece coach needs to be sacked because we've conceded so many set piece goals. The 2 goals against Arsenal, the one against City, one again today. And yes, I don't think it was even a free kick. I thought Malacia was poor as well, but the goals we conceded were so sloppy. The penalty as well. Masraoui probably had his worst game in a Manchester United shirt. It was poor. He gave away the penalty. Didn't have attacking impetus going forward. I think the way that Amorim changed it was good, but ultimately the subs didn't have any impact in the game. Garnacho, I think when he came on, struggled. But the goals were just so sloppy, and United didn't really have any threat in that game at all, really, to be honest with you. And I think the fans are going to be frustrated. Of course they are. Old Trafford was virtually empty by like the 80th minute because it was just a shocking match to kind of watch. Very, very poor by Manchester United, and that's another defeat. This was an opportunity for Manchester United to get higher up in the table. We are now 13th in the table, -1 goal difference, 2 points behind West Ham, and we're almost halfway through the season. It is very, very disappointing. In terms of stats from this game, this United had more possession, more XG, more shots on target, more big chances missed. But ultimately, we weren't clinical enough in the final third. We did have chances to score, but ultimately we didn't do enough to win the game. And ultimately, I think Amorim is going to be frustrated because the goals we conceded were just so sloppy, so weak. And yeah, absolutely embarrassing. We like 7 goals conceded in 2 games. As I said, the wing backs again were very, very poor. As I said, chances were created, but we ultimately couldn't convert the chances that we did have, unfortunately. Silly errors and bad defending and sloppy passing ultimately cost Manchester United. Listen, a lot didn't go right today for Manchester United, and ultimately that's something that we have to look at and really do dissect, because we've been very poor. The stats were there. Ineos must sign players for this guy because the squad have been very, very poor. 10 points above the relegation zone. Like, the principles were there. We played well. And ultimately, it was disappointing, is the word I'm going to say, because booze, like, if we don't give Amorim the right players, he is ultimately going to not work out at Manchester United. I think it was a game, as I said, lacked impetus, lacked quality, lacked that final third ability. I think, listen, when it was like this, when Ahmad didn't play well, and we didn't really play well, and he was probably our best player, and he didn't have the greatest game. So, listen, in the first half, we couldn't do much. We had a few chances, which I think we could have scored from, but it was disgraceful. Another 3-0 loss to Bournemouth. Like, very, very sloppy. The penalty, sloppy one to concede the 3rd goal. Very poor. I mean, who is marking Semenyo? Is it Semenyo who scores? Yeah, who's marking Semenyo when he scores? No one. Like, it's absolutely embarrassing and very, very sloppy by Manchester United. These players, I've had enough of some of these players at Manchester United. Absolute disgrace of a performance. Yeah, very, very poor. It was 1-0 at half time. The fact that we didn't concede 8 minutes in or 5 minutes into the second half was good, but ultimately the way that we did capitulate and we did concede the goals was very, very sloppy. Embarrassed is what you can say. I think Bruno was trying too many things. I mean, the amount of shots we had going into row Z was was a disgrace. Masraoui had a few, Ahmad had a few that went wide. Like we did have chances to score, and that's the thing that Manchester United should take away from the game. In which a game where there were little positives, I thought, sorry, little positives. There were a few. We have got to be careful, because we have got some tough games coming up on Wolves on Boxing Day. Then we have Newcastle. It is going to be very tough for Manchester United, and I'm hoping we can come away with some points. But this game against Bournemouth was very, very, very sloppy, and I think we do enough to deserve the win? Absolutely not. Did we do enough to kind of get the points? No, we didn't, and ultimately that's a credit to Bournemouth because they did way better than we did in a game in which you expect Manchester United to win. Very poor. Some of these players, man. Delo, again, very sloppy. You put him on the right-hand side, couldn't get at his man. In midfield, I think Ugarte was good, but when he came off, you really did see the difference. Bruno on the inside forward didn't really work. It was very sloppy by United, and I'm hoping we will improve. There weren't many, but this is probably the worst performance we've seen under Ruben Amorim, and we surely have to get some players in because otherwise Amorim's going to be done at Manchester United. The left wing back is essential, and I think Bournemouth did play very, very well. I think this is the lowest Manchester United finished in the league at Christmas in their history, or since the Premier League, sorry, and that was over 30 years ago. So very, very frustrating. There were no positives really from the game. We didn't even score a goal. Very sloppy. Kobbie Mainoo I think Kobbie Mainoo is struggling. Xerxes and Rasmus are not good enough. I thought Martinez, to be fair, had a better game. Ugarte. I'm hoping some of these players will leave. We had more shots on target. We need a lot. I think we do need a lot of positions. And listen, it's gonna struggle. But I fully trust Amorim. Obviously, by the way, I think we still got to trust the process. I think us missing De Ligt was very frustrating. Because I think he's our best player. But Manchester United is so loose defensively in key moments. United should have scored at least like couple goals. I mean, we suffered from some of the decisions in the final third. There was that Bruno, Ahmad. It's alarming, but we trust Ten Hag. We had a few shots which we should have scored from. Højlund had a few. Garnacho had a few. But I don't know, man. It was just very, very frustrating, and Manchester United lose. The subs didn't impact the game. I think the players didn't do enough today, and yeah, you would be frustrated because United didn't do enough, didn't offer anything in the final third, didn't offer anything going forward, and obviously Amorim will be fuming. There were a lot of players on the pitch which weren't good enough for Manchester United. That lacked quality, lacked impetus, and I think they were basically the whole team. We've seen it under Amorim before, the way that we've lacked intensity, and we did do that again today against Bournemouth. They were a team on paper we should comfortably be beaten, and obviously we couldn't do that, and that is very frustrating. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a like. That's been the Match Reaction. Thanks for watching. Peace.